This is the Franchise Basketball Insider, presented by Massengale Eye Care, Oklahoma City's leading eye care provider since 1989. Call 631-2020.
Greetings, Thunder fans. The franchise has made it to San Antonio. We're set to begin our coverage of the Western Conference Best of 7 semifinal series between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs did not work out today after clinching last Sunday. They had Monday through Thursday to work out and took Friday off. They'll go through shoot-around tomorrow, just a few hours before tip-off at 7:30 Saturday night inside the AT&T Center. Meanwhile, the Thunder worked out at the Integris Development Center in Oklahoma City on Friday prior to catching a 3 o'clock charter jet to be in San Antonio overnight Friday. They'll go through a shoot-around tomorrow at the AT&T Center, and we will have coverage of that here on the franchise website. Here's Billy Donovan and Kevin Durant from Thunder practices this week.
It seemed like you had 12 guys basically who were rotation ready. Is that a luxury as you transfer from series to series to have guys that are kind of, at least in some semblance of a rhythm?
Yeah, just, again, this being my first year doing this, one of the things I think you always want to do is you want to keep your roster engaged, and, in doing that, I think it's really hard this time of year to take a player, that maybe has not been in the rotation for 2-3 months and now expect them to come in there and perform well when a guy doesn't have any rhythm at all. We've been kind of fortunate during the course of the year that whether it's been through teams we're playing against, injuries, minutes, foul trouble, we've been able to keep a lot of guys engaged. I think that's a positive for us, where, I know Kyle the last series didn't play a lot, but you know what, he's been in the rotation during the year. So is Cameron Payne, so is Randy Foye. Most of our bench guys have gotten a chance. Look at a guy like Nick Collison with, some of our games playing, at the end of the year before our last couple games where he didn't play a lot because we're playing against teams that were playing a little bit smaller, and then we close out with the Spurs, and then we play Dallas, who plays, with Dirk and conventional two bigs. Nick was a great asset for us. So, I feel really good about our bench guys, the fact that they've all been engaged and they've had the opportunities to play.
As a coach, how much do you relish the opportunity to go into an extended chess match with a mind like Greg Popovich?
Yeah, they obviously have done what they've done, the Spurs, at such a high level for such a long period of time. The thing that I've always admired about the Spurs, to me that stands out is, the 5 championships, but just they have humility, just the humility in the face of such incredible success, the way that they've handled themselves. And, I think the one thing I really respect about Pop is he's a down-to-earth, he's a good person. Obviously, he's a great basketball coach, but he's a good person. He's down-to-earth. He's very, very approachable. And then, obviously, the job that they've done there and the success they've had there. So, we're going against a team that's, really, really, really extremely well coached, and it's got some really, really good players, and it's got a system and a style that's proven successful for a long period of time. So I think for us, you get into these kind of games. I've said this before. You want to get better in the playoffs. I thought Dallas made us better. There's no question that San Antonio is going to make all of us better.
We're excited to play. Playing against a well-oiled machine, and we got to be ready from the beginning. Going on the road, first game on the road. Some guys in here haven't been in that situation before, so we're looking forward to the opportunity. We've been preparing hard, practicing hard the last couple of days. So, we just want to play.
Any main objectives or priorities here in practice as you guys prepare?
It was focusing on us, mainly on how we can be better on both ends of the floor, how we can space the floor out, defensively, how we can cover for each other, just the simple things of basketball on both ends of the floor. We're just trying to, fine-tune some of those things up. And then, we prepare for them, as the days go along, man. They're a tough team, they're unpredictable, so we got to be ready.
Serge has been so important in this matchup in the past. Why, the obvious player, has he worked so well in this matchup?
Well, it's 2 different teams now. It's 2 different, they have a different team, we have a different team. Some guys on their team, assume different roles than they did 2 years ago. So it's a different series. So, we're not Serge is not coming in expecting to have, I remember one game he was 11 for 11 from the field. It's not always going to be like that. So we got to come in here and prepare. And these days, work hard in an individual game, and then you'll play well in the series. So it's not like he's just coasting and waiting for the games to start. But he's always been effective because he can shoot, he can block shots. So we need him to continue to be who he is.
You mentioned the difference in that team. LaMarcus Aldridge is obviously one of them. Yeah. How does that affect what we're talking about, that Serge matchup?
Yeah, when you got a guy that can score in a variety of ways, it definitely, takes you, mentally, you got to play both ends of the floor a little differently, you know, because he's an all-star player. He's a guy that can shoot over either shoulder. He can shoot from range. He can roll to the rim. So, you know, it's a different dynamic when you're playing against a guy like that. Mentally, you got to be locked in and be ready for everything, because they're gonna try to throw the ball in the post to him and run plays for him. So it's a little different than guarding some of the other guys they had started in the past.
Kevin, you and the Spurs are two of the more unique teams in the league, with the fact that the continuity that you have with core players playing together for 6, 7, 8 years. What kind of benefit does that have?
Just that familiarity with your teammates is definitely something that's underrated in this league. And I think that's one thing the Spurs are really great at, is knowing that who they want on their team and knowing that it's going to take time to build a really good team. So, you know, guys like obviously Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Ginobili, and Kawhi Leonard now, who they groomed into a fantastic player. And along with getting LaMarcus Aldridge, you know, they have guys that, you know, if you bring a new guy in, they can make them feel comfortable, because, you know, you got 5 or 6 guys that have been there for, you know, Tim Duncan's case, 35 years, and Kawhi Leonard's case, 5 or 6 years. So, you know, it's just, and then they have the same coach for the last 20 years. So that continuity is definitely important in basketball.
And even to, like, you know, you and Russ come in, you get to know each other as teenagers.
Yeah.
And now you grow up together, and then pieces change around you. What does that do for you when you walk into place?
You know, it just knows that you've been with someone through from the ground floor. You built this thing up, and just knowing that you have someone that's going to go out there and play hard with you every single night, no matter you know, who we're playing. You know, that's a great feeling. You know, sometimes, you know, we looked at as pros, and we're supposed to adapt to situations quick, but, you know, most of the time, you know, we have different teammates, you know, every single year. It's kind of hard to adapt and kind of hard to figure out the game of basketball. This is a complex game, but simple at the same time, and you need that continuity, you know, each and every year. And that's one thing both of our team and especially their team has figured out.
Have been a change in Kawhi Leonard's game over the last year?
I think the opportunity, you know, he's definitely, you know, Coach Pop has given him a lot of opportunity to go play his game. He's grown so much, you know, can shoot the mid-range, probably the best in the league at shooting the mid-range off the dribble, can post up, can dribble, can shoot the three, catch and shoot. You know, and their team, their system, their continuity of how they move allows him to get free a lot of times and utilizes his game. So, you know, definitely one of the players that I look at, I try to watch and check on every night, and someone that, you know, it's going to be fun competing against.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of the Franchise Basketball Insider. Don't forget our pregame coverage starts on the Franchise and the Franchise in Tulsa at 6:30 Saturday evening. It's TotallyTickets.com and Homeland presenting Countdown to Tip-Off with Desmond Mason, John Rohde, and yours truly. We hope you'll join us. I'll be broadcasting my segment live inside AT&T Center. In San Antonio, I'm David Garrett for Oklahoma's new sound for sports, 107.7 The Franchise in Oklahoma City and 107.9 The Franchise in Tulsa.